Food is a weapon. Food is immigration. Food is environment. Food is science. Food is culture. Food is everything we ever need to be able to survive. Welcome to Kitchen Conversations, and we have here today Mr. K Farmer, Mr. Olumide David. Thank you for coming. We have here Dr. Patrick Ijewere. I need to say it properly. Thank you, sir, for coming. And we have here also Mr. Kayode Adeboye, also a farmer. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you.
An advocate also, organic advocate. And we have here, actually, this one is very special. So we have Mr. Saheed Adams. He is also the chairman for Lagos NOAN. That's the Organic Association, Lagos NOAN. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So today we are talking about everything organic, everything GMOs, everything chemical farming, just trying to debunk what they mean. So there's been a lot of confusion about what GMO really is. What exactly is GMO? What does it mean? What does the word GMO? No, we have GMO, we have genetic engineering, we have, glyphosate or Roundup. So we have all these words, and I think it's confused for many people that, okay, GMO food, but we have the seeds. So we are here to actually discuss what they really mean, what organic farming really means, and also the way forward. So I think I will start with Mr. K. Sir, thank you so much for coming. So talking about I'm going to actually ask you some questions about your journey in regards to organic farming. How did you get into organic farming, and the journey so far?
Thank you very much. There are two perspectives, that brought me into this journey. To start with, I'm a third generation farmer. So I've learned from my grandfather and I've learned from my father. And then I made my decision. I realized that my grandfather's farm was a lot more sustainable than my father's farm. Because my grandfather, though, was doing a lot of tree crops. Well, my dad was doing a lot more of arable, and in his time was when they introduced the soybean that is modified. I remember very clearly that year it was saying, he went to get a seed from somewhere. I can't remember where he got it from, but it was called a special soybean, and we planted it. And 2 years afterwards, the soil was not good enough. Our soil was great, but 2 years afterwards, after growing that soybean, the soil was not good enough. It needed more fertilizer and all that. And over time, because I also went to the University of Agriculture, so my life has been agriculture. So over time, I now realized that actually, what made my grandfather's farm sustainable was because most of his activities were largely natural, his farming practices. And my dad's farm was not sustainable enough because he had to always depend on external supplies, which cost him money. Because when you plant a genetically modified or engineered seed, you would need some other chemicals to aid its growth. You need herbicide, you need some particular pesticide, you need synthetic fertilizer. Even afterwards, after harvest, you need to still preserve it with some. So you are enslaved. So that's one of the things that brought me in. The other thing that brought me in is my faith, really. I do not believe that mankind is created to destroy creation. So anything genetically modified alters, whether it's animals, whether it's seeds, plants, or anything, it alters the ecology of creation. So that's how I came into it.
That's how you came. And how long have you been a farmer now?
I've been a farmer for 34 years.
Wow, that's a long time. I think longer than many of us.
Children born 34 years ago.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Adeboye, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to ask you the same question.
Okay. Let me say that in 2004, I had a major health issue. And then in the course of my seeking for solution, I became a health minister of the Hallelujah Acres faith-based organization. So I went to North Carolina at Selby and got trained as a health minister. And I started practicalizing what I learned in my church and some other Christians. So, and one issue I kept on having was the nutritional density and the integrity of what we were taking. Yes, it's now good to take carrot juice, to take beetroot, to take lettuce, to take fresh things, veggies and fruits. And I bought this juicer called Green Star. Now, what Green Star is a triturating cold press juicer. It will masticate at 80 RPM, and then it will press with a lot of PSI. And if what you are juicing has a lot of chemicals, what you are now doing is you are taking a lot of chemicals into your body, and yet you are seeking health. So I started trying to do some little planting on my own, and then I will buy white vinegar to watch those things. But I also discovered that because I used to travel, you will go to Whole Foods and you buy carrots, lettuce, and all that from there, or those are massive pumpkin. And then you go to Walmart and you see those things filled with chemicals and all that. They will look so lush. So even when I talk to green grocers, even in Nigeria here, they will tell you one is agric. And then you will see the more nourishing one that they didn't put chemical. It's not looking that as good as this other one, but actually has better nutrition. So in the course of just trying to sort all these things, I came across Dorothy Organic, because I had made up my mind I was going to set up somewhere where people could get a healthy option. That instead of fast food, there should be slow food. Because good food should not be fast.
Yes.
So she was the one that introduced me to Noan, and she helped me to set up an urban garden. And Mr. O, that's the husband, taught me composting. And the difference is like between night and day. In fact, I bought an organic farm from a member of Noan, and my driver, or sometimes people will follow me to the farm. So one day my driver harvested water leaf. They were growing wild. So he harvested quite a lot and gave one old woman, his mother-in-law in Ijewere. Ever since, the woman will call her and say, when are you going to that place? Please, that water leaf. That the thing tasted differently. Yeah. So there is a lot of things to be said. And I have a kid brother. He has postdoctoral in biotech engineering. So he explained the concept of GMO to me. And one of the things he told me also is that there has not been enough research done that even when you do enough research, the passage of time is also important.
Exactly.
That 10, 20, 50, 40, I mean, look at thalidomide. Thalidomide, for some of us, was a drug that was being prescribed, and when you took that thalidomide that time, in UK especially, there will be no morning sickness and all that. Not knowing that it was teratogenic, it was causing women to give birth to monsters. And these were things, doctor, am I right?
Correct, correct.
Thalidomide were being prescribed in the hospital. So down the line, they discovered that, in fact, they formed a thalidomide center. Eventually, there were so many children that didn't have arm or leg and all those things. Yes. So enough research has not been done about this GMO nonsense they are talking about. So my brother told me also that what they do is they put a suicide gene. Suicide doesn't mean it will kill you now. Suicide means that seed, you know, when a seed is dry and you keep it here, there are enzyme inhibitors to prevent that seed from sprouting. But when that seed gets to a favorable environment, there is warmth, there is moisture, the enzyme inhibitors will go down, the growth enzymes will come up. Now, when you plant a GMO seed, you are starting a process. So when you harvest it the first time, the moment you try to make it go through that life cycle again, it will try to sprout and then it will kill itself. That's a suicide gene. Because that's the only way for GMO companies to make money. If you are able to harvest your maize, GMO maize, and plant the seed again, then why do you need to be buying seed every year? In Philippines, farmers were said, some farmers committed suicide where they could not take the pressure of buying seeds from GMO companies all the time. Because when they suck you into it, when you are completely dependent, those inputs that you want from them, they will increase the price. Because it becomes maybe an oligopolistic market. I mean, look at it now, Syngesia, maybe Dizengov, maybe Bayer Agric. There are not many of them. So you have to get your glyphosate somewhere, you have to get your Linden or whatever somewhere, and you have to. So I think we should go back to our openly pollinated varieties, the one that God has put in this place. God has a reason for putting it there. Let us, as my brother has said, let us not tamper with life. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Adams,
Yes.
your own story is long. But I think we'll go straight to the point with you. You're the chairman for Lagos NOAN, and that's Association of Organic Agriculture Practitioners of Nigeria, and you are the chairman for the Lagos branch. And before then, you've obviously been an organic farmer for a while, and you've worked with so many farmers. Actually, you've worked with thousands of farmers, especially farmers in Ekpe. Yes. And you've had an experience of the chemical side and the organic side. So the first question I will ask you is organic farming. What exactly is organic farming?
All right.
Or organic agriculture?
Okay, organic agriculture, I'd like to call it, because there are other many companies
Yes.
apart from production. I don't want to sound very academic, so as I said, I'll just come from the farmer's perspective. Organic farming, simply put, or agriculture, is just growing things the natural way. People will always think that if you are not using agrochemicals, then you are organic. No, it is not entirely true. There are some certain principles that you have to follow when you are practicing organic agriculture. Not using chemical is a component of it. It may surprise you too that fairness to your workers on the farm is part of it. Fairness to the people that you sell to is also part of it. There's also the component that has to do with health and ecology. Health in the sense of the produce that you have. Also health in the sense of, you as the farmer being the priority. When you are producing, you have to take care of yourself so that you can be able to take care of the plants, the animals as well. There's a principle of care that people really don't pay attention to.
Hmm.
Plants, animals are living things. Talking to your plants, they listen.
They do. They do.
They can hear you. I don't know. Yeah, so some of us who are much older or have been living in the rural area for some time or have grannies that one way or the other have practiced what's it called? Being traditional medicine. There are times you will go to pluck a leaf. You have to talk to that leaf, all right, for it to be. They get permission before plucking. No, it's true. So you take care of your plant as if you are taking care of a child. So those are these principles that are hidden that people don't see, and they focus so much on not using chemical. There's also the principle of ecology. That's the principle of care. The principle of ecology, where you are very concerned about your soil and the environment that you are also cultivating in. So those are some of the components that form organic agriculture. Here in this climb, you hear people say, I'm an organic farmer. You go to the market, you buy pineapple, you juice it, and you tell people that, okay, you are juicing organic drink. It doesn't work.
It doesn't. No.
So there are, that's on the production side. Now let me just focus on the marketing side, which to me speaks, volume. What we do within this space is just like we are doctors. We are doctors. A farmer is your first point of call when it comes to health. Whatever you consume can either make or mar you, short term or long term. So um, uh, we we provide life. From that perspective, I feel very proud of what I do, and then also I feel proud when I coordinate groups of people to be able to achieve that. This journey is a very, very tiring one. We can't do it alone, and part of roles that I play within the space is try to coordinate people, coordinate the system as much as I can, facilitate collaboration so that we can help each other out, which is also the very element of organic. There has to be some kind of cooperation amongst people and amongst the system, and then also with nature itself. My journey is long, as you asked.
Very long. Yes. So practically, it's all up. It's just if you go to the soil, the soil has fungi, you name it. They all work together. And if they're not working together or they're not there, then we don't have soil. Actually, we have dirt.
Yeah.
We just have dirt, and dirt cannot give you food. It's soil that gives you food, and it is the soil. So, like what you said, sir, we are actually the number one point, port of call. So we are actually the doctors. When it comes to farming, you are the doctor because you are the one tending to the plants. You are ensuring that the plant or your soil has the right nutrition so that they can grow properly, and that actually gives us nutrition when we consume that plant. So, doctor, that's where you come in. So, soil microbes, microbes in the soil, microbes in the body, they work hand in hand. If we do not have bacteria, we don't have all of these things in the soil, we are in trouble. And for us to be able to thrive, the human body needs bacteria. And the journey for you so far, I think the first conversation we had, you've shared your story already about how you changed your lifestyle, and now no more asthmatic, and now a special kind of doctor. You can see the way I'm doing my eyes. Everything all together. And so, sir, in terms of what organic farming does for the human body, you're one of our biggest advocates. I'd just like you to shed more light on that.
Several perspectives to shed light on this, but I appreciate all the sharing from my brothers here, and that you put this together is really awesome, because this dialogue needs to be in every home, in every office, in every farm, in every ear, in every political office also, to put straight the misguided approach that is occurring, especially in our land here in Africa.
Yes.
Organic farming, the entire... I was just listening to someone recently, and he said the soil microbes are what take us back home. After the soul departs, the first day the dead body is there. Come back in a few days, it's all bloated. Because all the microbes have gone to work to convert that whole physical entity back to soil.
Soil. Wow.
So it's a two-way street. We are of the soil. We start from the soil. Yes. Everything here, the muscle, the skin, the bone comes from the soil. And it will eventually go back to the soil. In God's creation, everything is circular. The earth goes round the sun. A child is born, toddler, adolescent, adult, has a child, circle continues. The water in the riverways gets to the sky, the rain falls, water comes back down, it goes into the aquifer, goes back up again. Everything is circular. Man is circular. Whenever we step in to interfere with that circularity, as we're doing with GMO, as we're doing with chemical agriculture, we cause problems. We cause problems. So our nature is, yes, we use the term organic, but truly we're designed in God's creation. There's a perfection in His creation. Today we have to argue and fight about this word organic, where it should just be what God created, just what nature has. It's sad because there are a bunch of people trying to take us away from that circularity. Hence we are fighting and using these terms.
Yes.
But truly it should just be pure nature. Whatever nature didn't create, we should abandon it. Yeah. No matter how scientific they say it is, because science today is for sale. Yes. Where science aligns with nature, harmony exists. When science tries to defy nature and control nature, wahala, the calamity occurs for generations to come. He mentioned the case of thalidomide. In nature, we already know how to procreate. In nature, the body knows when it's fertile and when it's not fertile. If we just listen and learn from our ancestors, the woman will tell you when she's fertile, when she's not fertile. Yes, today science says use the cervical mucus, but even just from the taste of her nipple, will tell the time of the month she is. It's already a perfect system. What we need to do is halt all those who are trying to get us to abandon the perfection and go into their box, into their prison. And in their prison, they give us terms to fight over, like yield. While they stand outside the prison and watch us fight among ourselves with all those terms. We need to break out of those prisons or refuse to go into the prisons. And that's what a lot of these companies, you mentioned a few of them already, are doing. Today they tell us our natural nature, our organic nature is not good enough. But to plant those seeds, you have to go to some big lab abroad. The moment they mention the lab abroad, you know there's a deception already in the programming. It's an attempt to take us away from God's creation, from nature. Not to abandon the word organic. It's important that we have this word organic, but truly it's just about getting back to nature.
I think the thing is that 20, 30, I don't know how long, maybe 40 years ago, the word organic wasn't really the word. It wasn't. We just knew it as farming or natural farming or nature, as you would say, sir. But over the years, because of, should I use the word bastardization of farming? We've now had to come up with these terms so that we can kind of differentiate or stand apart from everything else going on. And another issue has been that, I remember those days. Okay, for instance, I was telling I think it was my staff, I was telling someone some days ago. I said, growing up, I remember my dad was a reverend, a reverend, and Christmas time. So by this time, November, by this time, people come with chicken. So we used to kill chicken from the 1st of December till maybe the end of January. We're killing chicken every day. And these chickens were not, they used to call them Greek. Some of them are Greek. Some of them obviously were just natural, but they were not coming from cages. They were not coming from cages, and they were well fed. And by the time you kill these chickens and you eat them, you're good. We used to feed them food scraps, not just corn. And I remember we used to get a lot of things. So as a reverend of a church, you get a lot of things. So, you would get kegs of palm oil from Ikitupupa, we get salt, different, just a lot, bags of rice and things. So sometimes for months we are good. But my memory, and these are just members of the congregation. Some of them, they traveled abroad, they came for holiday, and Reverend said we should bring this for you. So we were always killing chicken every day. But the good thing, I remember, because I had good memories about the chickens, because they were tasty. They were not the kind of chickens you buy from some particular places right now that were full of hormones and antibiotics and all that. So that's why we're having this talk, because organic agriculture is not just about growing plants. It's also about everything else, from cotton to livestock, you name it. Even to makeup, how the components that they bring together to produce makeup, it's all part of organic agriculture. And so far in Nigeria, we're getting there, but we're not yet there. And there's been this controversy about GMOs in the last few months, or should I say 6 months. And there's also been a lot of misinformation about GMOs. And that's why we're talking about it now. Now, obviously, GMO is not, I don't know about in Nigeria, but I know that in the world, it's been around for at least since the 90s. Am I correct? Or
yes, the first place was 1974.
1974.
Yeah.
So it's actually even been 1974, not even 90s. And so it's been around for a long time. And they first of all introduced soybean and corn to us, but they came in different formats. So they changed them into byproducts, for instance, or into oils. So things that you never really detect are byproducts of GMO food. So soybean, soy lecithin, is in a lot of packaged goods. A lot of then we have soya oil. You buy your sardine, it's there. Vegetable oils, the same thing. Animal feed, especially animal feed. Yeah. Corn, the same thing. We could go on and on. And there's been a lot of, when we're talking about the implications of eating GMO food. So many people are not aware. They go to the shops, they buy packaged foods, and they go home, they eat these meals. 10 years down the line, lymphoma, something comes up. Alzheimer, something always comes up. And they were wondering, where did this come from? I've been eating healthy, I've been living healthy. But not really, because they're hidden ingredients in our food. So I think I'll ask Dr. Sir, you are the G when it comes to GMOs. GMO, genetic engineering, glyphosate, these words, what do they mean?
They're designed to confuse us. All right, GMO,
Yes.
genetically modified organisms. They've done something to alter, change, distort the original formulation, the original structure, the original creation. And they've done it for
not altruistic reasons and not godly reasons, for personal greedy reasons. We're dealing with people who have a mentality of scarcity and they must control it. It's impossible in their genetics. Africans by nature were an abundant people. We believe in what the Bible says literally. Everything is in abundance. And so you come with this mentality. Okay, so I want to control food all over the world. What do? Now, in many countries, they have these laws, called the patent laws, which we didn't have here in Africa, although we had certain restrictions on certain knowledge to certain communities. And so with these laws now, before you cannot patent nature. Nature is already abundant. So what do? You take nature and you make some changes to nature. And then you tell us that I've done these changes because you have this bug in your garden, or you have dry season. Who asked you to give me a seed that thrives in dry season? When dry season comes, nature has already given me something else to eat that aligns with my body's chemistry. I don't need your seed in the dry season. They alter the genetics, and as one can simply put it this way. Let's say your genetic sequence is A, B, C. My colleagues will say that's not genetics. It's C, G, A, T. You know, that's just easy. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D will code for certain proteins in the body.
Yes.
A, B is a certain protein. A, B, C, another protein. A, B, C, D, another protein.
Okay.
B, C, D, another one. C, D, another one.
Okay.
So you have the sequence of A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C. You say, well, let's introduce this gene that will help the tomatoes have a strong skin like a cow or like a cat. So you bring in a gene for CAT. So you now insert that gene A, B, C, D, CAT.
Okay.
So CAT will produce the protein that makes your tomato skin, stay for 12, 20 months on the shelf. Cat skin or cow hide. But when your body reads that sequence, it still knows A, D. It knows A, B, C. It knows A, B, C.
Now you have A, B, C, D, C. That codes for a protein, which the body says that has never been here before. Or you now code for B, C, D, C, A, T. So even in so-called genetics sequencing, that tells us it's a very accurate science. But when the body is reading the genetic code, you end up producing proteins that are strange or foreign to the body. The body is a master at self-preservation.
Yeah.
And when strange things come in, it says, hey,
Yes.
Bob,
Alarm.
this area boy, you don't belong here. Time to move. And the body puts on a reaction, immune reaction or response. So they get wiser, and they now give you things in that genetic code that also suppress your body's ability to say, this is a foreigner.
Okay. So your body won't detect that it's a foreigner in any way.
That's part of the behavior of the scientists today. So it's GMO plus that we're dealing with today.
RNA.
Or plus.
And RNA is
RNA.
different technology.
Yes.
RNA.
Modification of what occurs naturally, so that someone can control it and say it's theirs. And if you now use it, you have to always get it from them.
Yeah.
Glyphosate. Mr. Adams, Mr.
Glyphosate is essentially one of the major ingredients in most herbicides. And of course, herbicides, as the name implies, is used for controlling weeds. And what the very act is that when you have it on the soil, it inhibits the growth of anything.
Or anything. Okay.
Weed is also a plant, mind you.
Yes, it is.
So
It's actually herb. Many of them are actually medicinal herbs, weeds.
Yeah, it's just an unwetted plant.
Yes.
So if you want
you have
maize and there is cowpea, there cowpea becomes a wheat.
Yes.
Exactly. You get the concept.
Yes.
So you apply it in places that you don't want those plants, or as we call it, weeds, to grow. And what it does is actually suppresses their growth, and it kills the microbes in that soil. All right. So apart from doing that, What it also does is, from research, confirmed research, it has been proven that it also carcinogenic. Inhaling it in small doses over a period of time can lead to cancer.
Yes.
We've seen many cases.
Many cases, yes, abroad especially, yes.
Exactly. So that's what herbicide is, what it does, and the major component is glyphosate. Of course, there are some other components that are coming up now. At least that is what glyphosate is supposed to do. And unfortunately, in this climate, all right, I've hardly seen a farmer spray anything and then puts on CPE. That's a protective
In Nigeria.
in Nigeria. I only come across it in trainings when maybe some set of people are training. I've never seen a farmer actually putting on CPE. I'm not saying that they do not, but I've not seen in my practice so far. So imagine all of these very strong chemicals going into the soil, decapitating the soil, now being inhaled without any form of barrier by the person that is applying it. Of course, it is aerosol. It moves
In the air.
in the air when you apply. No matter how you are very careful about it, you still have some flying into the air, and it goes into the plants as well that are not even meant to have it. So you also ingest that. It goes into the soil, your fruit absorbs it, you eat it, it goes into your system as well. So there's a lot of issues that we are still going to face in the future. We're already started seeing some signs, but more, I don't want to be, what's the word now, negative about this, but more may likely come if we are not very deliberate about, the ban of this, this compound. In other advanced country, it has been labeled. Those that produced it have actually banned it in their own country. Europe, US, and here it's on the market.
But everything works, everything goes in Nigeria.
And to add to that, the glyphosate, we need to understand how it works.
Yes.
In terms of killing one plant and leaving the other one alive.
Yeah.
GMO. Any plant that has got enough sugar in it can survive the effect of the glyphosate.
Okay.
So that means to say we are just consuming sugar, because most of the crops are grown to survive glyphosate. Talking about GMO crops.
Yes, exactly.
So the modification they've done to them, they now have more sugar. Have you eaten beans that is sweet?
Yes. You're very
And then everybody goes around honey beans, honey beans, honey beans, honey beans. How can protein be sweet? Protein is not sweet. Carbohydrate is what breaks down to sweetness.
Yes.
But we are eating beans, which is supposed to be, that scalp is supposed to be proteinous, but it's sweet. That means we are consuming carbohydrates. So there is a lot of rampant issues around diabetes,
Yes.
and all those things, because we are consuming more carbohydrates than protein. So glyphosate destroy proteinous structures in plants.
You're correct, because there's been more cases in regards to insulin resistance and diabetes now more than ever, and it's been connected to GMO foods.
Strictly.
As in really connected. This is proven that it's been connected. So you can imagine, you just thought maybe it was just the drinks or sugar or something you were taking, and without even realizing that it was actually the food that you thought was healthy for your body.
Vegetables,
yes,
proteinous,
all of them.
leguminous,
Yes,
they are all more of carbohydrate.
but more of carbohydrate now. So that's why more awareness needs to be raised about this. And
Can I come in?
yes, sir.
as I sit down here, I'm looking at, I'm saying glyphosate, because some weeds become resistant to glyphosate.
Again, that's
That's
So farmers are forced to use a lot more glyphosate now
Yes.
to clear the plants. And then that ends up in our groundwater. So the farmer, the cow fulani, everybody, they are drinking glyphosate.
So even the grass-fed beef that we thought is grass-fed is not grass-fed.
I have a borehole, an industrial borehole, and I have a stream passing the bottom of my farm. I can't use that stream for irrigation purposes because one, they kill fish from that stream, and I'm sure some people will use gabaline 20, which is lead, which is a carcinogen. But more importantly, all over the place, everybody seems to be using glyphosate, and that ends up in the water
system.
And then you think you are innocent. Me, I'm not spraying glyphosate. I'm trying to, but it has entered your food chain in so many ways.
Yes.
I mean, look at the series of cases now that have been decided against Bayer Agro.
Yes.
Farmers who were using Roundup on their maize farm and all that, and they came down with cancer.
Yes.
So they've gotten class action judgment against Bayer. Bayer is almost folding up. The agro section.
This is also happening in Australia as we speak. We
And
have hundreds of farmers.
glyphosate was the active ingredient in Agent Orange. That was the defoliant they were using in Vietnam. No wonder a lot of their vets came down with cancer and so many horrible medical cases. So I want to suggest that, thank God for this kind of thing, I think we should move this to another level, advocacy level, about labeling and about this glyphosate epidemic.
In Nigeria,
Because this GMO is virtually in everything and nobody is labeling anything.
but we are in Nigeria. Let's all be honest now.
I know, but
Nigeria, we have to be realistic with what is going on right now in our country and the way our country is. Even labeling is a big problem.
Dorothy, let me quickly cut in.
Yes.
It starts from a push, conversations like this that move out to more people, they get to know about it. Nobody wants to die, at least we know we want to die, but we don't want to go
You don't want to die early.
or go down with a disease that we have to start spending money,
Yes.
money on.
Yeah, correct.
So if this message goes out, even the politicians, those that are in the legislative, those are the people that don't want to die at all because they have a lot of money to spend. Yeah. So this push, this advocacy, as Mr. Adeboye has said, has to go on. I don't want to believe that, yes, Nigeria, things cannot change. It starts with us.
You're
When we are
correct.
having the conversation, we are pushing. And you and I know this conversation about 5-6 years ago, it's not even on the table at all.
At all.
But now we have policies, at least at the association level, that we are pushing to make organic agriculture inclusive, to also, push around some legislature that can support the development of organic agriculture. These are moves that needs to be supported, not just by the association, but by people themselves. So I don't want you to go this.
The reason why I'm saying the reason why I'm talking about this labeling thing is because we have open markets. Let's put aside supermarket, the Nigerian markets. You go to the open markets. Is it a Mautu market you want to go to and identify what organic is? Or the places where they sell chemicals and tell them, or even we have to go to the top. So we're going to NAFDAC, who are the organic?
NAFDAC is responsible to an extent in controlling such produce, regulating the inflow of those.
So labels saying that glyphosate is hazardous to health, blah 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 blah.
Those labels are there. So again, it comes down to, first of all, they are not so even supposed to be in the market. Those labels are there in, the marks. You have red, you have yellow, you have green. Those colors means different things. On one side, that's on the farmer education, but in the first place, it's not even supposed to get into the market because it's actually a banned substance.
So we've accepted banned substance into our country.
Banned in other climes, and
Yes.
I think the conversation started sometime last year, 2 years ago. I don't know how far they have gone, banning some of these dangerous agrochemicals, I think, which also includes glyphosate. But it takes some time before they now actually withdraw it from the markets entirely. So I don't know what stage
we're at right
now, but there are efforts by the regulatory organizations to get this out of the system. But going back to your statement about Nigeria, some of these things are not following the due process or timelines that they are supposed to. But there's that conscious effort, and that effort is also being pushed by some organizations that keep on pushing out information about the hazards that these agrochemicals, including glyphosate, also has. So once that push, is sustained, you will have these changes coming in gradual steps.
Okay.
But awareness is key, no doubt. The farmer side and the consumer side, as well as government.
Because I've been to some open markets where, you're not only buying a four, a widow, or whatever it is, whatever food you want to buy. You're also seeing a small section of just maybe one man sitting there selling chemical fertilizer and pesticide and sniper and everything available.
Yes.
So that's where I was saying that Nigeria, everyone, you can't go to the market and identify what organic food is there. You just go, you buy, you take it home, you cook. Unless it's supermarkets, a real supermarket where, okay, we know we have farmers, organized farmers, we certify the organic produce, we take it there, and it's labeled organic. But in the open market, it's a bit more difficult.
It's impossible.
Okay, it's impossible. Yes, sir.
Sometimes you go to the market and look at the bean sellers. It doesn't have a nice big bowl of bean. But the beans look all even in size and appearance.
I've ended up in the hospital because of that. Yes, I almost died.
We have beans of variety of shapes,
color
variation.
Yes,
and you see the weevil and the flies come and perch, enjoy, and
then yes.
So the fly has not told you where,
which is organic, which is not.
Okay, now I'll share this story because this happened to me about over 5 years ago. So we had a source that we normally used to get beans from, and they were actually from Plateau. Our parents, our father-in-law, they grow beans naturally, so there was always demand. So she always tried to bring in bags and bags and bags, but sometimes they couldn't because there was unrest. They had the Hausa side, they had the Christian side, they had it was just, so sometimes for months they can't harvest, they can't bring in. And so for this, I think it was about 6 months, I said, I have not eaten beans. How can I be living like this and no beans? Because I was so strict with myself that I can't buy beans outside. So my husband and I went out and we were passing by Oyinbo and we saw this woman selling beans. I said, maybe I should just buy these beans and just cook beans, when your eye enter food sometimes. And so we stopped and I went there and I saw that what they had done was that they put the beans that had weevils on top of the beans that they had not even GMO, like they had even preserved with sniper. So I bought these beans, took it home. Funny, and unfortunately, Oga now had malaria. So a few days later, I said, okay, let me just make moi moi. It's been a long time I made moi moi. So I soaked the beans, made the moi moi. He couldn't even really eat much. I sat down, I ate this moi moi with all glee. As soon as I ate this moi moi, within 1 hour, I was gasping for breath. I was gasping. So I had all my peppermint, essential oil, everything. So I started, what's going on? And within, by 5, 6 that morning, the man who wasn't feeling well had to rush his wife to the hospital. So I got to the hospital and they were very slow. The doctor is upstairs. I said, kind of mistake did I do? Like, why did I eat these beans? Why did I eat this moi moi? And they took their time. And then they gave me this nebulizer. I just threw it in one corner of the room. And finally, I think the consultant came and said, why are you guys being slow? Don't you know what's going on with her? So they put me on drip. So the doctor asked me, later he came down. Now, this is supposed to be an emergency. So you can imagine them they're supposed to treat you within 10 minutes you're there. And you're still there 30 minutes trying to get treatment. And the doctor then asked me that, what did you take? I said, that when I saw that I was gasping for breath, I knew that I'd been poisoned. So I went to take activated charcoal. He said, you know activated charcoal? I said, yes, I do. He said, you know activated charcoal? I said, yes. He said, wow, you're informed though. Because it's we doctors that use it for people who... he said, that saved you because you could have died. And because it's kind of stopped, it had already gone into my bloodstream, but it stopped something from happening.
It absorbs the water.
Yes. I didn't recover. It took me a whole month to recover.
Something caught my attention while you were speaking. So even the market people now know that people want beans with weevil.
Yes.
So they now...
Yes, so they heat it under and put the one with weevil on top. So when we're talking about chemicals in food, we're not only talking about farming. It's also the food fraud. There's fraud going on with food.
Yes.
You buy crayfish, it's been preserved with sniper.
Sudan red.
Yes, or palm oil.
To make it look
yes, sir.
Reddish.
The same thing with palm oil.
The same thing with palm oil. Sniper and panla and the rest. They use sniper and all these chemicals to preserve them. So people eat these foods. So now we're still fighting with the chemicals being used, and then we are now still fighting with the food preservation in the markets. So it's like your body is full of poison and toxins. So when all these ailments come, and then you have to start fighting to get them out. But then how do you get them out?
I feel there's only one solution. And it's traceability. You should have traceability to what you eat. And the whole argument around GMO, chemical agriculture and all that, it all started maybe in the late 40s after the war and after the Second World War. And there was a challenge around the growing population. How can we feed them?
Mm.
So the concept of mass production of food, right from the farm using chemicals to even the factories, that most of our food must be chemically aided. Chemicals must become part of the ingredients in food. And of course, we know that most of the processed food, the ingredients in it are not just ingredients from the field. They are chemicals, ingredients from the lab. And now, they are even outright just doing lab-grown foods, So chemical food all the way, So, and I'd rather have a different argument to counter their argument. I'm saying, yes, we understand we should not make the world hungry. But then, why don't we rather have more producers as against mass production. So that's what I'm postulating. And for more producers as against mass production, it means that we need to find a way to have everyone to have one leg in agriculture. So if you're a pilot, you're a medical doctor, you are a finance person, we need to find a way for you to have one leg in agriculture. Either you're actively doing it, or you are promoting it from your industry. The finance person should invest into agriculture, like that. But let's even try to make agriculture easy for people to do. So, what am I trying to say? Like some of the things we try to do is some of this crop, and a way to even multiply our original native seed is some of this crop just help people plant it. Plant it in a grow box, plant it in a pot or something, and let them buy it that way, and just go and water it and harvest.
So countries not allowing GMOs, GMO farming or imports. We have Germany, Austria, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Poland, Netherlands, Algeria, Madagascar, Burkina Faso, Zambia, Mozambique, Turkey, Bhutan, Saudi Arabia, Peru. Now, African countries that have actually accepted GMO.
Kenya.
Kenya is in between at the moment. I think there's some debate, something going on with Kenya at the moment with GMOs. But we have Nigeria, South Africa, Ghana, Sudan, Ethiopia, Zambia, Malawi, Egypt, Eswatini, I think. And then we have USA, Brazil, Argentina, India, China. China is big on cotton, not GMO, not food, but it's cotton. And Canada. And what's going on now is Burkina Faso rejected or banned GMOs because the last trial they did with cotton was a disaster. And they said, no way, we're not going to go on with this anymore. And with the new regime or new government, they just decided to ban it. And so we can see all these countries, and we're wondering why Nigeria decided to accept everything coming in. And I think it should be a wake-up call. It's funny how we've been shouting GMO for the past 10 years, 12 years, and it's just in the last 6 months to a year that people have actually really woken up to this GMO agenda. For Nigeria, we do have many of our foods are actually being turned into, like the seeds, are being worked on. So number one is cowpeas, soybeans, corn, okra, cassava.
Staple foods.
Yes, so mostly the target is the staple foods, because if the staple foods can be targeted, then we are done for.
That's the market.
That's the market. Yes,
That's the market.
that's the market. And for them to be able to, another issue is not even the seeds alone. Now you want to harvest your rice or your wheat or your oats. What do you think they apply to before they harvest them? Glyphosate. So a few days before they harvested and after they harvested, glyphosate is applied. So we are eating poison or toxins.
See, proper labeling. It's just poison, glyphosate.
So the label should be saying poison.
No,
Proper labeling.
doctor is right. If they can write take a pack of cigarettes. Say the Surgeon General says that smokers are liable to die.
Die young and have
Yes.
cancer.
So what's stopping us from putting that on glyphosate laden field food? Well, that's the same thing.
It is, and so that's why when I'm traveling, I'm going somewhere, and I see people packing to buy corn or maize, and I'm panicking because I'm thinking, oh my God, we don't know where this maize came from. We don't know how it was grown, and you will see, especially in my area, there's a particular place where people pack I'm not sure if you've seen it, sir. It's opposite this. There's a particular church. And
Yeah, after LBS.
people park. You see cars parking just to buy corn, especially on a Sunday. Corn and ube. It's scary because you don't know how this was grown, how the corn was grown, especially with what's going on. You don't even know. And then later, cancer. This person is sick. This one happened. They didn't find it till later. Corn is major because now let's even go to this corn issue. We use corn to feed our animals. We use corn to feed chickens. There was someone who sold corn eggs to me. Do you know I knew that they use corn to feed those chickens because I reacted badly. I was sneezing non-stop. And I said, ha! You put corn in this. You've used corn to feed your chickens. And I never bought those eggs again. So it's something that I think there needs to be. And the problem was that I don't even think the corn was grown organically. Because it's corn feed. You know, they mix them with other things too. So the awareness is deep. Where do we start from? How do we move forward? Organic farming, or should I call it the real natural farming, organic farming is the way. We used to call it natural farming in those days. We never knew the word organic. But now we have to put a term to it. Whether it's organic, whether it's regenerative, whether, you know, there are many names. So many names to it. Which one? Agroecology. There's so many names to it. But there needs to be, I think it's time for everyone to wake up to what we are consuming, the water we are drinking, the air we are even breathing. Should we go far? The air we're breathing. You know, many people enter their cars AC. You come out of your car, you go AC. That's at work. You come out of your workplace to enter your car, AC. You get home, AC. When will you breathe natural air?
Not many people. You can see that for Lekki axis.
I don't think you'd be surprised though, sir. I think it's a general thing though.
The Lagos State Commissioner for Environment gave a statistics of children who die annually from air pollution, and it wasn't good at all. I couldn't put the figure off my head now, but it was a very huge figure in Lagos State. In fact, the ppm, when they did their test, the ppm, you know, the air quality in VI, very horrible. And some parts of Lagos, the air quality very horrible.
So that's why people must also have a lifestyle of, you know, visiting the farm. I mean,
plant trees. Look at
trees,
Malaysia
yeah.
now, look at Singapore. Plant trees. As we are, you know, like I told somebody who came to buy juice from my wife yesterday. She had some issues and she was trying to. I said, so let me give you Yanapaja, bitter leaf and a few things. Plant at the back. He said, no, they have interlocking everywhere.
You remove it.
And I said, no, you can't even walk barefooted in your compound because everywhere is interlocked. So if you walk barefooted, you're walking on concrete. You should be walking on earth so that you can earth yourself properly. So it's a lifestyle thing that we have to advocate. Let's have trees around. Let's leave some Mother Earth for you to contact with every day. Every time lightning is striking the earth, lightning is rejuvenating the ions in the earth. So, and a lot of those charges in our body from our nylon clothes, from all those things, when we walk on the earth, we are discharging, we are rebuilding ourselves. Well, concrete, plastic, shoes, everywhere. So,
And it's true. It's really, really true. Doctor, I'm going to just ask a few questions now, but I wanted to just raise, you know, processed foods. So I think talked about processed foods earlier, but processed foods, we have a lot of GMO byproducts in processed foods. So, for instance, soy or soya and corn, you can find them in the sardines, you can find them in infant formula, you can find them in vegetable oil, ketchup, crackers, cracker biscuits, non-dairy creamers, even powdered milks. You can find them in so many, yes, cornflakes. It's a long list, a very, very long list. And what I always tell people is that if you can avoid these items, avoid them. Or unless you're living abroad and you have access to the real organic, or another country where there's a label saying this is organic, if you want to eat your processed foods. Because what happens is that in the long term, many of them, how will I say this? They create what you call disease over a period of time. Might be short, medium, or long term. So infertility is on the rise. That's major. Aging, accelerated aging, insulin issues that we didn't used to have before. Our forefathers used to go to the farm. At least you will go to tell us that. Mm-hmm. Our forefathers would go to the farm. They'll come back, eat their inyo or amala, whatever it is. They will even eat it twice that day. Is there any insulin, any spike in their blood sugar? No. But today, we eat small pounded yam. Prum is gone up. Small rice is gone up. Why? Because there's something in the food we're eating. And there are changes in our liver, our kidney, so many things just pop up. So many issues. And doctor, so I wanted you to touch on the kind of diseases that you've seen or you research or you've done or proof in terms of how GMO has affected one's health or GMO foods. Let's put it like that.
You have actually listed.
I've listed everything already. I've answered your question.
And someone, I think, touched it also.
We look back historically. Our mentors, when they were in the 80s and 90s,
yes,
they used to thump their chest when they were in school in the UK that these ailments were absent amongst us. And the books then had these ailments noted as diseases of Western affluence. You find books written back to the 1930s, maybe early 1900s. There's two I'd love to point out. One is called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, written by the young American-Canadian dentist. And he traveled the world looking at different cultures, deliberately looking for dental theories. Those who kept their traditional diet untouched by Western civilization, Western art civilization, and those that moved over to these westernized foods, the processed foods, the processed meats, the wheat, the flour, the sugar, the vegetable seed oils, and consistently from Kenya to Ethiopia to the Gaelics to the Eskimos to the Polynesians to the native Aborigines, the native or Australians, even amongst your Canadians who were more natural, amongst the Scandinavians who kept the native foods consistently. Those who ate their traditional and ancestral diets were healthy across the board. Better skin, better teeth, more energy. Those who ate the conventional foods, whether they were GMO foods or highly processed foods or the chemicals in them, either died younger, had dental caries, had the plethora of westernized diseases, from diabetes to high blood pressure to cancer to autoimmune disorders, consistently. Data is good, but the interest with the largest pocket doesn't honor that bit. If you want to be healthy, stay away from westernized food. The processed foods, go back to indigenous ancestral foods.
And just to let people know what GMO really means. So, for instance, with the cassava, what they did with it was they said, Africans or Nigerian children or African children are deficient in vitamin A. So they needed to find a solution for us. So they took the gene of, maybe like carrots, and put it in the cassava and said they are giving us vitamin A cassava. Now, it's the same with the others. So, sir, you have many examples.
Genetic transfer. What was the medium they used to transfer the gene from the carrot into the We really thought we were not trying to vitamin A cassava. And it's one of the biggest lies they sell to us. How many extra microunits or micrograms of vitamin do you get in that cassava? Doesn't come anywhere near to eating the carrots, the beetroot, or moringa. So it's a farce. It's way below what the body needs for its daily intake. They create a problem, sell us a bunch of lies to despite, and then we like fools jump and run with it and say, "I cassava is healthier for you." Whereas they're putting things in it that are going to cause wahala with the health down.
Yes. And they did that to many other crops also. Soy, corn, and many others. So you can just imagine, gene is like, so you are eating this food, you don't even know that it's going to affect your gene expression also.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It is going to affect it. So that is one of the major reasons why there's infertility. It's so high. I don't even think people understand what's going on now.
Do you know they create seeds? So we're talking about RNA, because everybody is saying GMO, but it's more of RNA seeds.
It is.
So they design seeds, and in the design of that seed, in the genetic engineering, they designed the seed to kill particular type of cells in the body or in pests. So a lot of seed kills the reproductive cells in humans. So that's why you have the issue of reproductive issues all around, So that's how, and science is interesting because every discovery, always have another new discovery on it, and there's no limits to this thing. So that's why we shouldn't even touch alteration of nature, because there is no limit to the research, to the innovation and all that. We're just going to kill ourselves in the world. We just eradicate ourselves in the world with the whole science knowledge.
And then the unintended consequences, because you have messed up the basin. I don't know if you remember Jurassic Park. What did they do? They just did cloning of a dinosaur.
The same breed.
That dinosaur went rogue and everything went away. And that's it. I even heard that, but even the vitamin A they used to fortify flour.
Yes.
When they remove the bran, which is very nourishing.
Yeah.
And they remove the wheat germ.
They remove the wheat germ, yes.
It has vitamin A because it clogs up their meal.
Yes.
So now to
fortify.
They put fortified with vitamin A. That vitamin A is from anthracite. Anthracite is stored in organic vitamin A. The bioavailability is not very high. But they've met. Is it something like labeling fortified with iodine?
Yeah.
Iodine is very volatile. You have a big bag of salt and you put fortified. That iodine is gone within them. They will pour in basin in the market, in the open market, and they are measuring out with bowl. If you put iodine in salt, it shouldn't be more than this in packaging so that they can quickly use it. So a whole lot of these things, they are just fulfilling our righteousness and killing us
daily.
Instrumentally.
Instrumentally, yes.
Unfortunately, our regulatory bodies our biosafety
Commission.
all of them, they are just buying all these things. I remember a whole minister of agri that said, taking picture with Monsanto that time in the newspapers. The whole minister of agri, I don't know what
He was a progeny of that whole Monsanto.
Yes.
It's
Whereas they sold off Monsanto when that problem, when the class action suits were too much.
Yes, they did.
And Bayer
Bayer inherited, yes.
Yes.
And,
who's Bayer? What's the history of Bayer?
Bayer's history is deep. Very deep. If we go back, it's deep.
Yes.
Really, really deep. And so what we have been contending with is in chemical farming and GMO, we're contending with chemical fertilizers, chemical fungicides, chemical pesticides, yes, antibiotics, hormones, GMO seeds, okay, poison, atrazine. You know, we could go on with the list. So, poison. And then we still have the side of the food fraud where all these chemicals are also being used to preserve the food we are eating. Poison. And so this is where, what is the way forward in terms of advocacy on farming? What's the way forward?
Yeah, in terms of farming, like I said earlier, the way forward is we need to make farming more user friendly, and improve on the approach of subsistence farming. Yes, we know most houses in the cities don't have maybe land gardens and all that, but it's great that we can do vertical farming now, and we can use biofertilizers as the nutrients to grow food vertically. So that we should look into. With that, we can produce more food. I mean, everybody just have to participate in this. Exactly. Everybody should have one leg in agriculture. Let's produce more healthy food. Because if you want to depend on one farmer to produce food for a lot of people, then he has to use chemicals, he has to use, and the thing is, again, to even use some of the equipment. Because people say mechanization. It has to be mechanization and also the chemical part of it. Because some of those machines cannot really work without aiding the plant's growth with chemicals, So, like you have a drone for spraying. What are you spraying? And all that. So, we just have to take that approach of more producers versus mass production.
More producers versus mass production.
Well, let me also quickly chime in here. Now, it's important to also educate the farmers. Well, farming is a business. You understand? The farmers will look at the best way that they can minimize costs and optimize their yield for more profits. Within the organic production, it is actually profitable.
It is.
Short term,
medium term,
and especially long term.
Long term, yes.
But then this information, this stereotyping that has gone on that, okay, organic farming is not profitable, has to change with proof. And to get that done, we should really educate the farmers on practices that will make them sustain their production and be profitable. Let's not just, joke about that. They want to be in business. How do they do it sustainably? Which is also leading me to the market side. There has to be demand. Demand that will also maybe not right now immediately match what the conventional market is about, but then like efforts that we are doing right now, creating a demand side where you have a market that is focused on natural production. People know that if they need this, they need to go towards the side. More of such farmer markets that are dedicated to natural farming or organic farming must exist.
Yes.
So that it will give the farmers incentive to, okay, there's a market that I want to supply to that is maybe slightly higher in price, which is an incentive for them. to want to do more and get more profit on their margin. So I think these two things combined together, is going to have some significant changes. You have to manage demand and supply. There's nothing you do that, if you want to sustain, there has to be a way where people are incentivized to do more. That's what the counterparts are doing.
As you educate the producers, the farmers, you also educate the consumers,
Yes.
the masses.
Yes. So, doctor, from your own side or point of view, how do you educate your patients in regards to the awareness on chemical farming and GMOs? Yes.
The moment they enter my clinic space, the compound space, they see the signs very clearly. I tell them it's the price you pay for health and wellness.
Yeah.
You pay it now or you pay it later, and guess what costs more? Later. So once they walk into my space, they see the signs already. If they go on any of my social media presence, they get that information. Those who are on my database, whether it's WhatsApp or the broadcast list, at least once a month, they get a message from me that the organic farmers are here on Saturday at this place.
Yes.
Go there.
Agbalumo
Yes. Agbalumo challenge. I think there's Agbalumo challenge. There is mango. Is that ube? There's ube challenge. And there's raw food challenge.
So they care constantly about growing organic.
Yes.
And growing organic.
Growing organic. Yes. Thank you, sir.
I think there has to be a democratization of organic farming, and let me use the word natural. The reason is this. I went for this wedding in Germany, and it was a small community near Düsseldorf. They call it Amrat. So, because it was a wedding, Niger people now, so they got Airbnb. It was a complete bungalow. So many of us were there. In the compound, they had, by the hedge, they had strawberry
growing.
They had 1 or 2 apple trees. I mean, that was my loaded with fruits. So I was speaking with the bride, and she told me that just by the outskirts, they had a large expanse of land. So if you want land to do some farming, you just approach their own equivalent of a local government, and they give you land free. Yes. Not that it doesn't belong to, it's like lease or something. So you can use it for any farming you want to do.
Wow.
Yes. So I think in Nigeria, we should look at democratization of organic farming. Some people want to do, but they don't have land. I don't know, advocacy still has to come in.
Yes, it does.
I was reading about blue zones. Blue zones, for our information, are places in the world where people tend to live longer with lower morbidity. Okay, so you see people who are in their 90s, they are still working on their gardens, and they don't have a lot of these metabolic diseases. So when there is a place in Japan, there is one of those Greek islands, there is also a place in the US. Pardon? Yes. Where they and one of the things they discovered was 1, air quality, 2, their lifestyle. You know, what they were eating and all that, water quality and all that. So those were some of the things. So that just buttresses what doctor has been saying, you know, that these diseases were not there before, it's just our lifestyle. So if we can have like a legislation, I don't know whether that maybe every estate should have like 2 acres. And it is the law. Me, by God's grace, I have a lawyer friend, I have a realtor, I'm talking to him. Is there a possibility of doing a blue zone in Nigeria? So he mentioned the place. I said, no, it's too close to the cargo airport in Ogun State. You know, because when those big cargo planes are flying, there'll be so much pollution. So it has to be a serene place where people can stay, where that you you have golf carts instead of vehicles all over the place.
Blue zone economy.
And the walkways are lined with trees or fruits. And there are taps you could pluck through and wash and eat. And you are made to work. So if you pay for a plot, automatically you actually pay for 2 plots, whatever you pay for a plot. Because 1 plot will be for your own garden. And then 1 plot. So there has to be a democratization of organic or natural farming. Where at least no chemicals. You are able to, in fact, touching the earth itself, working on the earth, is therapeutic on its own.
It is.
Thank you.
Where I used to work a broadcasting company, we had plots. So our plots were like maybe 1/4 of this table for each team. And we would grow beetroots, some herbs, and everyone, imagine, so we're like maybe 10 in team. And everybody had their own tiny little patch.
Yeah.
We all had our own tiny patch if we harvest 1 okra, we all share that 1 okra.
Yeah, and that
I remember that. It was actually fun because our boss would drag us all the way down, to the ground floor to go and check till the soil and and I used to wonder that time because I wasn't really familiar. I was like, what's this one? I beg me how to walk, but now it's a different story. But that time we just wondered, why are they making us do all of this? But it was actually to make us think and also look further. And okay, if I could work on 1/4 of this table, then I can do more.
And to see the possibility.
That okay, I have a garden at the back of my house. It's just flowers. Let me remove the flowers and
so
grow
what we
something.
are doing on our farm, in the community where we have our farm, we set up a school for the children there. So they have the regular curriculum, but it's an agri-vocational school at the same time. So the children, they grow a lot of nurseries. And we bring the nurseries to town and sell the nursery. It's a free education school and a free meal school as well. So I know that those children are going to grow up and agriculture is not going to look like a big deal.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Is there anything we want to add to?
Nature is circular. There is an ecosystem always, playing at some point in time. That's God's design. So the same way we are trying to do all of these things, there should be a lot of collaboration between the farmers, the markets or the buyers, the policymakers, and every other stakeholder, that matters. So that coordination is key for us to be able to bring some of the solutions that we're talking about to reality. Of course, you and I, everybody seated here today, at one point in time had been as a result of Connect.
Yes.
I connect with you, you connect me with that person. So everybody seated here today, that's how we came to be. And we need to continue this.
Yeah.
We need to be very deliberate, take ownership of our own success. Yeah, so when we are committed with that, we can really make things move.
Yeah.
I think that's my own final take on this as well.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When the final documents or podcast or post is done, all the solutions we've heard today, please list them. Let them be very clearly, not just only in the audio, but also even
We have to write them
yes,
down.
some brilliant ideas. I mean, from the democratization to the school coordination,
Everything. Thank you all so much for coming, sirs. And we do pray and hope that more awareness will be raised on GMOs, chemical farming, and also organic farming. And people will also, the member of the public would also make the right choice when it comes to their health.
And our decision makers.
Yes.
Who are temporary in Abuja.
Yes. If I recall, sir, I remember some years ago when we were trying to form cooperatives and everything.
Yes.
One aim we had was to form a parallel system. So we have, whether it's GMO or chemical, and we had organic. And we're still forming that parallel system. So, and we want that parallel system to now be longer. So organic should be far longer than chemical. At a point, chemical or GMOs would cease. And because they will even have no choice, we'll say, you know what, I think this thing is good for us, so let's move. The prayer is that we will continue to form that parallel system, whether it's in farming and whether it's in health. We will continue to form that parallel system. So thank you so much, sirs, for coming all the way down. And we sure did have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.